Hello and welcome to a Pro Football Hall of Fame archive exclusive. I'm Jameer Howerton, producer of Hall of Fame Productions, and I'm joined by my teammate, Jason Retner, director of digital and social media. Jason, today we have an exciting show, and as you mentioned last week when we had the opportunity to catch up with Gold Jacket Emmitt Smith, you said there's no place you'd rather be around this time of the year than with the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
There's more to Super Bowl Sunday than the Super Bowl, believe it or not, and we have so much great content, including the election of the class of 2018. And we're going to have it all live during this week's Super Bowl week, and fans are going to be able to tune in on our social media and, of course, our Hall of Fame channel. And they're going to be able to see things live as it unveils. Where else do you get that kind of content?
Nowhere.
Exactly. I mean, it all starts this Thursday, February 1st, but on Friday, we have Merlin Olsen Luncheon, so we have a group of Hall of Famers there that are going to share stories, funny stories from their career. The next day, on Saturday, we're going to have the Ford Chalk Talk with John Randall and Terry Bradshaw. But here's the cool thing, is the class, right after they're elected, David Baker is going to get in a car, and he's going to go to the hotel, and he's going to knock on the door to let the people know who's in to the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class. And I will be with David in the car live sharing stories because this is his fourth year that he's done this. So he's going to give us some insight. And we always hear and see from the reactions of the players, the coaches, and contributors, but we never really hear from David Baker.
You got a pretty cool job, my man. That is smooth, man. That's really nice because you're absolutely right. This man goes around and he delivers the great news. And we've seen some of the rawest emotions of guys crying and of the hooping, hollering, and screaming of family members going crazy. So you're going to be right there front and center.
I'm going to call him the Santa of football.
When he delivers the...
Absolutely. And again, I'll be there, and it's going to be great to see this live and raw.
Awesome. Well, fans, make sure you tune in to all of the Pro Football Hall of Fame social media outlets for all the rich content that's going to come to you live from Super Bowl 52. Well, Jason, we talk about bringing the message of the Pro Football Hall of Fame globally, and it gets no better than who we are honored to be joined by on the phone from Denmark than Gold Jacket Morten Andersen. Morten, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on the show. It's great to talk to you, and it was a big day yesterday over here in my hometown.
Well, let's jump into that because, Morten, you're a part of history because yesterday actually marked the first time that the Pro Football Hall of Fame and its three iconic symbols were featured in a presentation overseas. And it must have been a great celebration. We have all the beautiful images out right now on our social media outlets so fans can tune in and look and see all of the great pictures from Denmark. But what did that celebration mean to you? And take us through the whole day.
Yeah, it was an incredible day. It started at 3 o'clock. The city of Struer, which is the hometown, about 12,000 people. They had a big ceremony outside our big sports arena complex where kids and youth and adults alike go to exercise and to play soccer and handball and squash and swim, and they have a road right out in front that they renamed Morten Andersen Passage. So that happened at 3 o'clock. We were honored to have President of Pro Football Hall of Fame David Baker and his wife Colleen there. And my wife and I were there along with the mayor of the city and the city council. Following that, there was a big reception for about 250 people. That was the official reception of from the city. And I received some incredible gifts from Bang & Olufsen, which is a big company that is in my hometown, a audio-video company, beautiful speakers and all kinds of stuff. So I received some gifts there. There were some speeches. And then at 7 o'clock, we invited 1,500 people into a big to the arena, and we had a show, a Q&A. Mr. Baker spoke. We went through, as you mentioned, the three iconic symbols of induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the bronze bust, the Ring of Excellence, and, of course, the gold jacket. And Mr. Baker presented those three icons to me, and it was very well received. We did a little Q&A on stage, and we had some music, and then there was an after party after that. So it wrapped up about 2:30 this morning, and was quite a long day, very emotional, and my family was there, lots of friends that I hadn't seen in a long, long time. So an incredible experience, and was so glad that and honored that the Pro Football Hall of Fame allowed me to have this ceremony in the hometown where it all started. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
It sounds like it was just as big as it was in Canton. I mean, having a second one like that in your hometown?
Yeah, it was. We didn't really know how many people, and you got to think now that the city of 12,000 people and 1,500 people show. It was sold out. We could not have put any more bodies in this particular venue, and so it was a huge success from that standpoint, but also just to feel the love and the support from the city, and of course from the Pro Football Hall of Fame with Mr. Baker, the president. He did a beautiful speech, as he always does, and very, very dynamic, and it was just wonderful.
Let's go back to that street name. To have your street named after you, I mean, it really doesn't get any bigger than that, and it represents you coming over to the United States, making your high school football team, and then coming back as the NFL's all-time leading scorer. What does that mean to your legacy and the mark you made on the game for football?
Yeah, I think that it was very important that it was called Passage, not road, not street, not boulevard, but Passage, which is another word for passage would be journey. And so we wanted to, and I think the city wanted to recognize that it has been a long journey, a successful one, but one that started in Denmark in this little fishing village, and little town, and then through the United States and all the different stops, ended in Canton, Ohio, and then fitfully ends back in the hometown where it all started. So very unique naming of the Morten Andersen Passage, this strip of road in front of the sports complex. And so I think it also sends a message to the younger generation who will be using this facility now for generations to come, that that it's possible with will and perseverance and hard work to attain your goals and to have success and to be able to follow your dreams and realize them.
Morten, during yesterday's ceremony, was there a moment where you kind of just pinched yourself and said, wow, this little young boy that grew up in Denmark, went overseas, played football for the National Football League. I come back to my hometown, and it's beyond the red carpet being rolled out. But like you mentioned, the inspiration for generations to come to say, hey, look, if Morten can do it, I can do it.
Well, I think it hit me on an emotional level when the unveiling of the sign for the passage, for the street, not the street, but the Morten Andersen Passage, when that was unveiled, and there were young people there in American football uniforms, and there were cheerleaders, local Danish kids cheerleaders, and there was a band, and the mayor was there, and Mr. Baker was there, and all my family and friends were there, and then having the big celebration in the evening and standing in front of your town and being recognized and literally watching 1,500 people on their feet standing for minutes and applauding, it was mind-boggling.
Wow, that's amazing, and sounds like exciting times. And right now, Morten, this is exciting time of the year. We're going to talk about the process of going through and calling the 2018 finalist class. We asked you early this week if you can send your predictions in, and before we relive your moments of last year, let's talk about your predictions for this year's 2018 Hall of Fame class.
Well, let me start by saying that I'm very happy I don't have to go through that process again. It was very ominous, and it was interesting while it lasted, but I'm sure glad it ended well. That's all I could tell you on that. But it's a great, it's a great class again, and there are a couple of names that jump out at you, of course, and to me, it's probably Ray Lewis. Obviously, it's Randy Moss. Those are the two guys that jump out of me right away. I think Joe Jacoby. I think Mr. Dawkins from the Eagles has a good chance. Alan Fenniger and Terrell Owens has a good chance to get in. It's just a matter of what the voters, who pushes who out, and if you have several at the same position as it has been in years past, who then eliminate each other, or one gets in, the other doesn't. So it's going to be interesting from the senior. I think Jerry Kramer has a really good chance to be there, and it should be really fun. I'll be watching and listening from over here. We have a big Super Bowl party on Sunday in Copenhagen that I'm hosting, so I will be over here for another week, but I'll definitely keep my eyes and ears peeled to Minneapolis for the results.
And we're inviting fans this year to test their football knowledge and correctly predict the class of 2018. One grand sweepstakes prize winner will enjoy tickets to the 2018 Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Week, powered by Johnson Controls. So Morten, fans have an opportunity to pick and compare their picks to your picks, which is pretty cool as a football fan.
I think that's a really neat idea that you guys are doing, and I look forward to coming back as an enshrinee now in August of 18 and welcoming the class of 18 to Canton, Ohio. It's going to be wonderful to be able to sit on that stage on Saturday and watch somebody else be nervous up there.
What's the advice that that if you had an opportunity, to talk to the class that you predicted, what would be the advice that you would give to these guys, because you went through selection Saturday?
Yeah, again, it's a long process and it's a long day, and you are sequestered in the room. I would just say to try to soak in the moment and not overreact either way, but enjoy it if you're in, and not be too disappointed if you don't make it in, because it is such an honor to even be recognized as a finalist. So I think to keep some levity and perspective during this tough time situation, this powerful emotional time, is a good idea to have patience and to understand that you're one of the greatest ever, but just by being recognized as a finalist. And then, of course, if you do make it as one of the enshrinees, to be then to soak in every moment and just really enjoy it.
Now, I was with you last year right before the class election, and that's when we first met, and you seemed really confident going into that year. Were you always confident as you were named a finalist, or did you really feel in your heart that this was your year?
Well, I felt like the numbers were good last year for me, and just looking at the candidates and looking at the fact that I had waited and been a finalist for 4 previous years, or a semifinalist my first year, and then this is my 4th year as a finalist. So there are no guarantees, obviously, but I don't know. I had talked to a few other inductees and guys that were in the hall, and they all were confident, so I had no reason not to be confident. But I didn't know, obviously, until Mr. Baker knocked on the door, and it sure was a sweet sound.
And I bet, and I was actually there with David during the knock, and I saw the emotion coming from you. But one of those emotions, you just seemed so relieved, like the weight of the world was off your shoulder.
Yeah, because it is, sometimes when you're too close to it as a player, and everybody around you have comments, they think you deserve to be in, and then it builds up hopes. And then when it doesn't happen in the previous years, you do, the air goes out of the balloon. There's no question about it. You do become extremely disappointed, although you realize it's exclusive company regardless. And so when it finally does happen, it's a hard feeling to describe, but relief, I think, is a very good way to put it. Whatever emotion that you show at that door when the knock comes, it's going to be real emotion. It's going to be honest and raw, and I think that's the beauty of the way it's set up.
And the beauty of it is that Jason will be live this year, Morten. We're going to have Facebook Live, The Knock. We're going to have all that footage on Snapchat, all of the Pro Football Hall of Fame social media outlets, and even also too, we're actually launching a channel, so fans tune into profootballhof.com to relive those magical moments as we bring you live as it is. And like Morten said, when he opened up that door, it was real live emotions. 'Cause I can just watching it. Besides Jerry Jones and everybody screaming, it was like Morten and Mr. Baker at that moment, and he looked at him like, "No, are you serious?
No way.
No way!" Like he looked at him like, "Don't play with me, man. Like, don't play with me."
And I didn't know if you guys were going to stop hugging or not.
Yeah.
You guys were there. That raw emotion was amazing.
It just sends goosebumps every time I watch it, Morten. I got to be real with you, man. But before we let you go,
It's awesome, man.
before we let you go, we got to get your Super Bowl prediction. Who do you like in this year's Super Bowl and why?
Well, you have to go with the experience and Mr. Brady and the Patriots. This is the 8th time that Mr. Brady's been there, I believe, and if he wins, it'll be his 6th Super Bowl victory, something like that. So I have to go with the Pats, and just because they've been in this situation, this big game, so many times.
Special team wise, who has a better kicker?
Well, Philly has the young one. They're both very good as far as kickers. As far as return games, I think maybe the Eagles have a little bit of an advantage, but I don't think the game's going to be decided there. I just don't think it'll be that close.
Wow. Morten, you always see right at halftime, because they had that long halftime, and special teams comes out with a squib kick, or they'll do they do some razzle dazzle to get the energy. Yeah, you always wait for that, because everybody's like, you know what I hate more, and I got to be real with you. I'm in the barbershop a lot. And guys always like, well, if it wasn't for that onside kick, or if it wasn't for that block, or that penalty, field goal block, the team would have won. And I'm like, dude, special teams is a third of the game. It means something. Those guys get paid too. There's strategy in that. I hate that. Everybody always wants to look at, well, defense wins championships, and offense, you got to put the points on the board. But listen, field possession, special teams.
Field position, yeah.
Exactly. If the offense is struggling, we're going to need our field goal kicker, i.e. Morten Andersen, to win this game for us.
There's a lot of hidden yardage in that phase of the game, and it affects field position. It affects how you call plays offensively to get to the scoring area of the field, whether it's 3 or getting into the red zone to go for 7. It also dictates how many explosive plays and what you call in first downs, depending. All kinds of stuff is involved in field position that starts with special teams, obviously, whether it's off a kickoff or punt. So there's no question that games can be won or lost in that area, and it affects the rest of the, both how offense and defense is played. So it'll be fun to watch. It should be a good game, and thank God for an indoor stadium, huh, guys?
Well, there you have it. Gold jacket. Morten Andersen is going for the Patriots. He says they have he says Philadelphia has the younger kicker, but he says it's not going to come down to a field goal, Jason.
Nope. Experience is going to take him all the way.
All right. Well, Mr. Andersen, thank you so time for giving us this moment all the way from Denmark. We wish you safe travels back to the country, and thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Have a great game, and we'll see you back in the States in a little bit.
Welcome back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame Archive exclusive. I'm Jameer Howerton. He's Jason Redner. And Jason, it was a great opportunity to catch up with Gold Jacket Morten Andersen and just recapping some of his conversation. Of course, number one, the ceremony overseas was phenomenal. We had the pictures that all of our fan base can go on social media and check out. What really touched me most was the advice that he would give to this year's 2018 finals class. He told these guys to soak up every moment. It's going to be a nerve-wracking ordeal, but just take the time to breathe and soak up every moment that happens from the morning to the evening. So that was really touching. But also, too, we got to talk shop. We got to talk football. He's pulling for the New England Patriots this year, Jason.
Yeah, he talked about Tom Brady, which... how could you not talk about Tom Brady? Obviously, that's the story. But he also talked about the special teams. And it's almost a story of two tales. On one side, you have an experienced kicker in Steven Gostkowski. He currently ranks 18th all-time with 1,613 points, and he's been with the team since 2006. So he's been there. He's an experienced guy, ice in his veins. This year, he currently ranks 4th in field goals made, and he kicked a 62-yard field goal. So we know he has the leg to kick from pretty much anywhere. On the other side, you have the up-and-coming kicker in Jake Elliott. He's been impressive all season, too. He kicked a 61-yard field goal to beat the Giants earlier this season, so we know he has ice in his veins.
That was a game winner, too.
That was a game winner, so we'll see if he can do it on the big stage. He's also one of 10 other players that has kicked a 61-yard field goal in NFL history as well.
So I'm really looking forward, and I know we shared this with Morton, but after every halftime, not every halftime, but you always see those razzle-dazzle plays, especially from Bill Parcells, having the honor to work with him, and we know that Belichick is cut from that cloth. So from all that dancing of Justin Timberlake, entertaining all the fans during this year's Super Bowl halftime show, I'm thinking whoever gets the ball is going to do a little razzle-dazzle just to get the blood flowing again.
And I think you have some insight, too, because not only did you work with Parcells, but you worked with Bill Belichick, too.
I did.
So you know what goes through his head.
I did. And because everybody, they really get it twisted. They look at offense and defense, and like I went on my rant with Morton, but special teams is a third of the game. They get paid too. Those guys are Tasmanian devils, and it's controlled chaos out there, and it's really the football players.
So during his practices then, did he focus a lot on special teams? Tell us.
Absolutely, Jason. You found Bill Parcells, and who's cut from that Belichick cloth, that special teams, he was a former special teams coach. He was a special teams coordinator, but he would really kind of play a lot of situational and practice a lot of situational plays out there on the practice field. And I just think that this is an area where it just gets overlooked. So, but as Morton said, these two teams, he doesn't believe it'll come down to that. And he knows better than we do that, these guys, Tom Brady, best in the game, he's going to put some points on the ball when he's averaging like 30 points a game. So, I don't think he doesn't think it's going to come down to a field goal, so neither should we. Well, Jason, February 3rd is going to be a huge celebration here as we continue the celebration of excellence at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That's right, because we're going to officially announce the Hall of Fame channel. This unique channel is a first of its kind for the Hall and provides a lot of unique content.
Yes, it does. With over 380 hours of original content, the Hall of Fame channel will provide viewers with the opportunity to experience exclusive and historic events from the official guardians and historians of the game, Jason.
That's right. It's going to be exciting. Make sure you tune in, profootballhof.com. You'll see the channel. And again, we're going to have all the live content as well, so tune in with us then.
Well, we are so proud to serve here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where our mission is to honor the heroes of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, and celebrate excellence everywhere. With Jason Rett, I'm Jameer Howerton. Thank you for joining us for this Pro Football Hall of Fame archive exclusive.